It was meant to be a typical day in Parliament, droning speeches, rehashed arguments, and the same old political theatre. MPs shuffled papers, aides huddled in corners, and the chamber ground on at its characteristic sluggish pace. And then, suddenly, everything stopped. A measured, steady voice boomed through the chamber, at once piercing the tedium. Helen Zille, long-time politician and one of South Africa's most experienced firecrackers, stood to speak. Those familiar with Zille are aware that she is used to controversy and has built a career around shaking up the establishment with her biting words and brazen interventions. Yet, what she produced from her folder on that day was something that even her most vociferous critics could not have anticipated. She brandished a small sheet of paper, a note. It appeared tattered, subtly creased, as if it had been routed through a lot of hands and was imbued with an unmistakable sense of threat. This was not the sort of note you brandished carelessly. It was the sort of note that could turn everything on its head. Her tone, firm but sharp, filled the room. "What I have in my hand here," she started, "is a reproduction of a secret letter, one that supposedly connects the President of our Republic, Sir Ramaphosa, to a co-financing pipeline never revealed to the public or even to Parliament." The impact was instant: silence. Not the type of silence that merely drops, but the type that crashes. It was as if the air had been drawn out of the room. Eyes grew wide as Zille started to read. Laptops shut, coffee cups suspended in midair. Some ANC members sat forward, shaken visibly, one mouthed a nervous question to another, obviously disturbed by what was happening. For a party used to its discipline, its aplomb, and its mastery of the House, the response was sinister. The writing in the note was short, only a few words, but the words had the force of an earthquake. The note purportedly outlined an offshore meet between Ramaphosa's personal aides and a European intelligence official. The message suggested clandestine international deals, backroom campaign donations, and, this is the zinger, world media manipulation prior to the previous election. Zille herself did not level a direct charge. She was careful, almost refined in how she phrased it. She made it evident that she was simply reading what had been put in front of her. But her tone, her measured cadence, and the chilling silence in the chamber spoke volumes otherwise. It was more about the palpable change in mood than the words themselves. Everyone in that chamber recognized the seriousness of what had just been introduced into the public sphere. The question now plaguing South Africa's political class is straightforward: who leaked the note and why now? Oppo sources indicate that the note was leaking for weeks, if not months, before it made its way into Zille's hands. Some think it was the handiwork of a disillusioned ANC insider who simply could no longer tolerate the corruption. Others suspect that the note came from overseas, maybe from an overseas operative or intelligence ally who had decided that the time had arrived to reveal the covert activities of the administration. And if that's so, why publish it to Helen Zille of all individuals? Might this have been a strategic decision intended to make the revelation detonate with optimal political impact? Or was Zille merely the only one brave enough to stand in Parliament and read it out, risk be damned? Either way, the note has become a political grenade and the pin's already been pulled. Hours after Zille's shocker, the presidency moved to react. A strongly worded statement was released labeling the note as manufactured nonsense and blaming opposition parties for indulging in irresponsible propaganda. The tone was vitriolic, almost inflammatory. Zille's behavior was branded irresponsible and a threat to state security. But the problem is this: in their haste to discredit the messenger, they never actually denied the meeting outlined in the note. And that one minor omission showed no signs of quelling the flames. By morning the next day, Parliament was filled with calls for a speedy investigation. The EFF, never short of a political moment, quickly pounced on the bombshell. Julius Malema demanded full disclosure of Ramaphosa's campaign funding and threatened to move a motion of no confidence. The DA demanded a behind-closed-doors examination of the contents of the note by the Parliamentary Intelligence Committee. Small parties, desperate to get a piece of the limelight, chipped in, putting pressure on the president. Outside Parliament's walls, social media blew up. Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok became opinion battlefields. Hashtags trended in hours. South Africans divided into two groups. Some ridiculed the note as being just a last-ditch smear campaign, while others shouted, "We told you so," in reference to long-standing allegations of corruption among the ANC's top leadership. The argument soon spilled onto talk radio, podcasts, and TV panels, filling the national discourse. Experts fear this news could ignite one of the most significant constitutional battles in the nation's democratic era. The stakes are enormous, not only reputations, but the very stability of the ruling party. The allegations, if true, would not only taint Ramaphosa's presidency but could send the ANC into crisis, splitting the party when its base is already weakened. Criticize Helen Zille all you want, but the lady can command a room. For her detractors, this was opportunism writ large, precisely aimed to cause maximum disruption. For her admirers, it was courageous, a willingness to utter the unutterable in the one place it could be uttered most. What cannot be disputed, though, is that with one note she changed the political terrain. This was not an act. It was a deliberate intervention delivered with the skill of one who has spent a lifetime playing the game and knows its every subtlety. Whether viewed as a whistleblower or a political operative, Zille has altered the tone of the conversation and perhaps the trajectory of the nation itself. And thus the question still hangs over the country, weighing heavily: will the truth emerge? Will the government throw open its books and face the charges squarely, or will it fall back on denials, stalling, and evasions? Will Zille be penalized for what some consider irresponsible grandstanding? Or will she come out triumphant as a national heroine hailed for refusing to let uncomfortable facts be buried? One thing is sure, this is more than a political battle. It is a reckoning. South Africans are used to scandals rising and falling, but this one seems different. The mix of international rumblings, parliamentary theatrics, and popular indignation has given the storm a unique quality. And if history is anything to teach us, it is that truth tends to rise no matter how hard it is buried. The die is cast for a political showdown that will shape South Africa's destiny. Ramaphosa's presidency teeters in the balance. The credibility of the ANC is on the line, and South Africans are watching intently, wanting answers.